I know at times the world seems as though it is full of chaotic and random events, unpredictable chance that we cannot prevent. But if you take a step back and you can see it is all carefully planned, there are no coincidences, there is only the hidden hand. This world is controlled by a powerful few who control what we think, what we say and we do. They control our lives from the very second we're alive, and we live by their rules and we die by their lies. They have people in power across every institution. They were playing both sides of the French Revolution. They were there at the signing of the American Constitution, and they were funding Adolf Hitler and the Jewish persecution. They abolished the gold standard and have privatised the reserve. They have infiltrated the Vatican and taken over the church. They have pillaged African diamonds and they have raped the Middle East. And they have stolen American gold and brought Afghan heroin to our streets. They are the hidden hand who are far above the law. They have manipulated our history from famine to war. They have ruled and opposed in this monopoly they have made, from religion to politics to the arms and drug trades. They extend into commerce, into insurance and mining, to education, health and communication combining. They control the media production and the global cultivation, the entertainment, the fashion, even space exploration. They regiment our minds for the television we need. They condition us through music and the books that we read. They pull all the strings, inside and out, and control all political parties because our votes don't count. They create the illusion that we sculpt our own future with votes, and our destiny is decided on what we desire the most. Well, the power's not in the ballot box, the power's not in our hands, because we hand that over to a government that carries out their commands. Year after year, they are enforcing more rules, slowly chipping away at our freedoms. We're being conditioned like fools. There is a three-step process that they use for a fact to gain more and more power whilst covering their tracks. First, they create or allow a problem to arise, and then the governments make out it had come by surprise. It could be a collapse, a crash, or a manufactured crisis, like the Twin Tower attacks or the rise of ISIS. Or the attacks in Australia, Belgium or Paris, either intentionally sparked or they knew all about it. But let them play out and place them onto the world stage, because now a problem is created, here comes the next phase. Phase number 2 is the reaction to the first. There is now a public in mourning, they are frightened and hurt. They have a televised debate, a national anthem or song. Then a government inquiry to see what went wrong. They come to the conclusion terrorists slipped through the net, and by the public having freedoms, well, they add to the threat. So now the public are in fear, with the government their defender. The public unaware it was all staged to suit a global agenda. So then the final step unravels in their sinister plans. They introduce new laws, legislations and bans. This is the solution to avoid any future attacks. So now governments and corporations make watertight pacts, such as Facebook and Google recording our files. They listen in on our calls and the numbers we've dialed. They track us in our cars. They know where we're going. They know what websites we visit and what our televisions are showing. They have facial recognition and fingerprint scanning. They monitor social media for the profile mapping. They can track GPS through our switched off phones. And they can access our webcams from outside of our homes. They say protection from terrorism is the only reason they're spying, but they know everything we are doing down to what we are buying, and soon they won't want cash and they won't want cheques. They'll want traceable transactions for a cashless society next. But we think it's all for our protection because our governments care, but they're protecting us from terrorists that they have put there, all for the purpose of the future existence, where they take away all our rights without one shred of resistance. So the more terrorist attacks that the governments create, the more we allow them to control and dictate, and we hand over our freedoms and our rights out of fear. That's why there's more terrorist attacks happening each year. There have been so many people who have spoken out with the facts, but those who speak the truth are either imprisoned or sacked. They have everything taken and their safety threatened, and the rest of humanity don't give a shit for 1 second, because they're hypnotised with sports, television and fame, or with the latest Apple product or a Candy Crush game. There is no way we can stop their conditioning that affects us when they distract us with technology and political correctness. And the migrant wave into Europe isn't what it seems at a glance. It's a well-paved plan for the future advance, because how do you stop the masses from becoming stronger? A little old school trick called divide and conquer. So after destroying innocent countries, they invite them all in. It causes unrest in the West, so the government step in, with more laws and controls to protect the population. It's the same three-step process, just a different situation. You see, the world where we live is not as simple as it seems. We are controlled by psychopaths who are possessed by greed. Will we continue to conform until we are no longer able? Until there are no clothes on our backs or no food on our table? They will take all we have, right down to the last stitch, because their system keeps us poor to keep the 1% rich. They don't care about us, they only have one goal, and that is optimum taxation in a world that they control. We're nearly at the point where our freedoms are gone, and our choices and voices are soon to be none. With their smoke screens and mirrors, they keep us asleep, and with their laws and their treaties, they herd us like sheep. So don't sit back with your eyes wide closed, or wait till it's too late and their plans are imposed. How can we ever make a change or create a better day when we can't see the forest because the trees are in the way? We need to wake up to this shit and stop being asleep, as you're filmed 100 times a day like a thief in the street. The only chance that we have to make this intrusion stop is to take a step back and to connect all the dots. Do your research and see what you find, because the reach of their deceit will blow your mind. Once the veil has lifted and you can see right through it, you'll see the world is not black and white, and there is a lot more to it. We need everybody awake so we can take back what's ours, because women ain't from Venus and men ain't from Mars. We are all from here. This is our goddamn planet, and there is no bloody chance those bastards will have it. We need to all change the direction that we are walking on this path, because we're heading down a road where we ain't ever coming back.